Are you still keeping your money in the bank? Or I like to say cash? If you are, that might not be the safest thing to do in this economy. With rising inflation and banks facing instability, your cash is actually losing value every day.
Right now, the smart move is to put your cash into assets that don't just hold value, but grow over time. In this video, I'll share assets that are safer than cash and can protect your wealth even when the economy is shaky. From precious metals to digital currencies, these options provide security and growth potential.
Great day, another opportunity. Super excited to be here with you today. Great subject we're going to be talking about, super important subject that we're going to be talking about. So I don't want to belittle the time. Let's dive right into it. As we see, things are changing. Things have changed, and for the most part, things aren't going to come back to the norm. We're no longer in our granddaddy's economy, no longer in the Brady Bunch economy. We're in the new economy that actually started in 1971, but things like this don't happen overnight. But we're now coming to a point in history that most aren't aware of and most aren't ready for, but I want you to be ready. And let's first talk about this amazing asset that is number one on my list that can most definitely protect us moving forward in the new economy. First up, precious metals, gold and silver. These have been stores of value for thousands upon thousands of years. Unlike cash, they don't lose value to the number one killer right now, the silent killer, inflation. Now, why is gold and silver safe? They're tangible, universally recognized. In some countries, you go to jail trying to use the US dollar, and they maintain purchasing power over time. Consider holding physical gold and physical silver in small transaction-friendly weights. And also, it'll be intelligent to look into certain stocks that mine these precious metals and other precious metals that are used for important things globally. Now, second on my list is real estate. I know you would agree with this. Real estate is another solid asset. Property values generally appreciate over time, even with a fluctuating market like we're presently in right now. Now, why is real estate safe? And I know you were thinking this, people will always need a place to stay. And having rental property can create cash flow, and you need residual income, passive income to come in an inflationary environment. Now, here's a tip. Look for properties in a growing area to maximize long-term value. Now, my third piece of information, and once again, this is not financial advice. This is just financial education. Do your own research. Something that I'm not involved in, but most definitely I have put investments into certain stocks with certain companies dealing in the mining industries. But I just want to share with you a diversified piece of information where you can make your own decisions by doing your own research. So my third piece of information will be dividend paying stocks. These aren't just about stock price appreciation. They also provide passive income through regular dividend payouts. Now, from my research, I've come up with it being safe because you want to base it on established companies with a history of paying dividends. These are more usually stable. So I'll leave you with this based on this particular asset to look into. Focus on blue chip companies with consistent dividend growth. Now, asset 4's one of the new guys on the block or new gals on the block, however you want to look at it, and it's been taking everything by storm since 1999. You may have heard of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency is becoming and has become a strong hedge against inflation, along with currency devaluation that's taking place globally. Bitcoin and Ethereum, the mom and pop of the industry, are leading the way as decentralized assets. Now, when looking at cryptocurrencies, you may say, well, Demi, why is this safe? Because it's in a decentralized platform, blockchain. No central authorities control them. So we look at cash and banks, that's owned by central banks, okay? And you don't have control. You may think you have control of that, but there's no control in that. All right. They are centralized. Speaking of the banks. So once again, cryptocurrency, no centralized authority controls them, making them resilient to government interference and inflation. So I'll say this about cryptocurrency: invest wisely. Allocate a small, manageable portion to your diversified portfolio. And this is based on due to the volatility. Now let's talk about the fifth asset that's on my list. And this is why I got so much love and respect to my mentor who's into collectibles, rare assets that only a few people on the planet have. And collectibles can come in different forms. You can have rare artwork, vintage cars, like my mentor who has, please correct me if I'm wrong, if he hears this video, he has Lena Horne's old Bentley. Oh my gosh, what an amazing piece to have. So what does he do with his vintage cars, his Mustangs and things of that nature? People want them in their movies. People want them for photos and pictures. I mean, just so many things you could, but he has an asset. That's an asset. Baseball cards, paintings like Da Vinci and Rembrandt, all these are assets. And just think about it. You can have a limited edition of a tennis shoe. This is an asset that appreciates over time. So why is this safe? It's because assets like this are scarce. They're a limited amount. Their value is driven by demand. And this is for collectors and investors. So I will say this is a tip right here. Only invest in areas where you have the knowledge or expertise and you have been studying. Now, number 6 on my list is just amazing because these are things that we actually deal with, many of us, on a daily basis. Now, around us is a commodity, or I like to say an asset, that's used in almost everything. And this is oil. Oil is used to build buildings, it's used to create certain products. It keeps your engine going, one of the main key things. And it's a big thing. And it's something that many, especially the country that we're living in, have done certain things that most don't know about, okay, to get oil. Oil is an important asset that if you wanted to look into being diversified or even in companies who invest in oil, this is a great thing to think about. Also, natural gas and wheat. FYI, did you know how powerful and important real wheat that grows 7 feet plus tall is important to the body? I know electricity is important. It's another thing to look into, but natural gas, like I mentioned, is important. How would your house get heated up? How would a lot of things without natural gas be able to function in our everyday life? So it's important to look at this and other essential resources are foundational to the global economy. Unlike cash that loses value over time to inflation, well, like I like to say, quantitative easing, the printing of money. Commodities tend to rise in value as demand increases. So you may say, well, Demi, just break down the protection or the safety I have in these different commodities. Well, understand these are physical. Your cash, if you get cash because the plan was to discontinue cash, and I think that plan is still going into action. So most of what we think we have is on a computer. These commodities are tangible, they are physical, and people will always need them. Energy, food, and raw minerals are essential no matter what's happening or what's going on with the economy. They will always be needed. Now, one way you can invest in these commodities and assets to this nature, you can do it through future contracts, ETF, which stands for exchange traded funds. Something that I, as I listen, and I'm a student of Robert Kiyosaki, he doesn't do that, but I'm just giving you, and you can say, well, that's what he doesn't do. You're right. You can do it, right? So that's why I'm giving you things that's diversified so you make a sound decision on which way you want to go. But certain wealthy people don't deal with stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and things of that nature. I'm just giving you this information because you can get involved in companies that are invested in these commodities, study them, look at what they're doing, look at their track record, and you decide to make a move. So if you don't want to go that route, what you can look into is owning these physical assets like land, farmland. If you have an apple tree and you grow apples on the apple tree, you're now in position to sell your apples and create cash flow. So farmland is important because this gives you a lot of different ways that you can make business to help the masses of people because you have that physical asset. The 6 assets that are safer than cash: precious metals, real estate, cryptocurrency, commodities like land, oil. We talked about that briefly. And we also talked about collectibles. And if a person wants to look into getting certain types of bonds, and I talked about why me personally, I haven't dealt with bonds or anything, but I'm just sharing with you other things that you can be looking into that will create cash flow for yourself. So remember, these assets don't just protect your money, they give it the potential to grow in uncertain times. Now remember, if you're the person who likes to gain knowledge, you want to sit back, read something that's simple, in my description below, you'll see asset that I've been dealing with for years, since 2015, which is physical gold and physical silver. So grab my book and you'll be able to learn the importance of how to protect yourself with physical gold, physical silver, and it's all about having real money. I like to call it God's money. So let me ask you, before we go, which one of these assets do you currently invest in? Or are you thinking about diversifying right now? Let's talk. Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and a subscribe. And I'd love to hear what you're thinking about. Comments are appreciated. And also follow me, because I want you to get more financial insights on just what's out there in the world and hear about my ups and downs, but also hear some of the knowledge that I've been blessed because of the people that I'm studying, that I've been blessed to obtain, to pass on to you so you can do research on your own. Don't forget to hit that bell icon. I don't want you to ever miss an update. And remember, take care, take heed, and stay safe. Until next time, Demi Sonia of Rich Education. Take care.